Ethan Cole was not the kind of man who believed in blind dates. A 32-year-old architect living in Seattle, he had built his life around schedules, blueprints, and coffee-fueled nights. But when his best friend, Mark, insisted that he meet someone special, Ethan reluctantly agreed. "She's perfect for you, man," Mark had said with a grin. Smart, funny, and looking for something real. So there he was, sitting at the Silver Maple Cafe, dressed neatly in a navy shirt, tapping his fingers nervously on the table. He checked his watch for the 5th time in 10 minutes. Then, she walked in. A girl in a simple white dress, her long dark hair cascading down her shoulders. She looked nervous but composed, her eyes searching the room, until they landed on him. "Ethan," she asked softly. He stood up quickly. "Yeah, that's me. You must be Lila," she said, smiling faintly as she sat down. "Nice to meet you." Something about her voice calmed him. They ordered coffee, and for the first few minutes, their conversation was light and polite. She laughed at his awkward jokes, and he found himself relaxing. But there was something unusual in her eyes, a quiet sadness, like she was holding back a story. "So," Ethan said after a while, "Mark told me you're into photography." Lila smiled. "I used to be, not so much anymore." "You used to be," she nodded, stirring her coffee. "I stopped a while ago. Life got complicated." Ethan wanted to ask more, but something in her tone made him hesitate. So he changed the subject. They talked about movies, travel, and Seattle's unpredictable weather. But as the minutes passed, he noticed she wasn't asking much about him. She seemed more interested in studying him, his expressions, his words, even his hands as they moved. Finally, she took a deep breath and said, "You seem like a good person, Ethan." He chuckled nervously. "Thanks, I try to be." "Why do you say that?" Lila smiled faintly. "Because you don't even realize what you did." "What I did?" He frowned. "I don't understand." She leaned forward slightly, her voice barely a whisper. "I'm not here for a blind date," she said. "I'm here to say thank you." Ethan blinked. "Thank you? For what?" Lila's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "For saving my life." He stared at her, confused. "I think you've mistaken me for someone else. We've never met before." "Yes, we have," she said softly. "But you don't remember." She reached into her bag and pulled out a small photograph. A young woman lying in a hospital bed, tubes attached, her face pale but smiling weakly. "That was me," she said. 2 years ago. Ethan froze. He recognized the hospital logo in the background. It was St. Clair's Medical Center, the same hospital near his old apartment. "I was hit by a car," she continued. "It was raining. I was unconscious when they brought me in. The doctors said I needed a rare blood type for an emergency transfusion, B negative. They didn't have enough donors. But one man came forward right away. You." Ethan's eyes widened. "Wait. I did donate blood that night. They said it was for a critical patient." "That patient was me," Lila said, her voice trembling. "If you hadn't shown up, I wouldn't be here." For a moment, Ethan couldn't speak. He felt the cafe fade around him. All he could hear was the quiet hum of gratitude in her voice. I didn't know," he finally said. "I never found out what happened." "I know," she said with a smile. "That's why I had to find you." They sat in silence for a while. Ethan tried to process everything. The woman sitting across from him wasn't a stranger. She was someone whose life he had unknowingly saved. "I don't even know what to say," he said finally. "Just let me say thank you," Lila whispered. "That night, I lost everything. My car, my health, even my career. But because of you, I got a second chance." Ethan's throat tightened. "You don't owe me anything, Lila. Anyone would have done the same." She shook her head gently. "No, Ethan, not everyone would have walked into a hospital on a stormy night to donate blood for a stranger. You didn't just save me. You reminded me that kindness still exists." He smiled, humbled. "I guess I never thought much about it. It was just something that felt right." Lila looked down at her hands. "After I recovered, I promised myself I'd find you. It took me months. Asking nurses, checking donor records. I finally convinced Mark, your friend, to set up this meeting without telling you the truth." Ethan laughed softly. "So Mark was in on it." "I knew something was fishy." She grinned. I wanted to thank you in person. Not just with words, but by showing you what your kindness created. Lila reached into her bag again and handed him a small photo album. Inside were pictures. Children playing in parks, elderly people smiling, street dogs being fed. What's this? Ethan asked, flipping through. My project, Lila said. I started a nonprofit called Second Light. We help people who've lost hope, homeless families, orphans, anyone who needs a hand. All of this started because of you. Because I got another chance to live. Ethan looked at the pictures again, his heart swelling with emotion. You did this, because of me. She nodded, tears in her eyes. Because one act of kindness can create 1,000 more. He sat back, overwhelmed. You've done more good than I ever could. Lila smiled softly. Maybe. But you started the chain. Rain began to fall outside the cafe, just like that night 2 years ago. The sound of droplets hitting the window filled the silence between them. Ethan looked at her, then out at the rain. You know, I used to hate the rain. It always reminded me of lonely nights. Funny, Lila said, watching the same raindrops. I used to hate it too. Now it reminds me of life, of second chances. Ethan smiled. Maybe we were both meant to be here today. She looked at him, eyes soft. Maybe we were. They stayed for hours, talking about everything. Her recovery, his work, their dreams, their fears. Ethan felt something shift inside him. This wasn't a date anymore, it was something deeper, a moment of destiny. When they finally stepped outside, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. Lila pulled her coat tighter. Thank you for meeting me, she said. I didn't mean to deceive you. I just didn't know how else to approach you. Ethan smiled. I'm glad you did. It's not every day someone thanks you for saving their life. She laughed, her eyes glistening. Well, consider this my official thank you. She reached out and hugged him. It was a gentle, heartfelt hug, warm, sincere, and full of gratitude. Weeks passed after that night. But Ethan couldn't stop thinking about her. The way she smiled, the strength in her eyes, the grace with which she turned her pain into purpose. He visited her nonprofit one weekend. She was there, surrounded by volunteers and children, her laughter echoing through the room. When she saw him, her face lit up. You came, she said. Of course, he replied. I wanted to help. And he did. Week after week, Ethan began volunteering with Second Light. They worked together, shared ideas, and slowly, without realizing it, became inseparable. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the city skyline, Ethan found himself standing with Lila on the roof of the community center. You know, he said quietly, I thought that night at the cafe was just a strange coincidence. But now, it feels like fate. Lila turned to him, smiling. Maybe it was. I'm glad you found me, he said. Because in finding me, I think I found something too. What's that? She asked softly. He hesitated, then whispered, you. Her eyes widened. Ethan. He took her hand gently. I didn't come looking for love that night. But maybe kindness brought us together for a reason. She blinked back tears, then smiled through them. Maybe it did. A year later, Second Light grew beyond their wildest dreams. It opened branches in 3 cities, helping thousands of lives. At the organization's annual fundraiser, Lila stood on stage, giving her speech. There's a man here tonight, she said, her voice trembling with emotion. A man who gave me my life back. He didn't know it then, but his kindness became the spark that lit this entire journey. Ethan, thank you, for saving me, and for believing in kindness. Ethan stood up, applause echoing around him. But all he saw was her, Lila, the girl who turned a thank you into love. After the event, under a string of fairy lights, he proposed to her with a small silver ring. She laughed through tears, whispering, yes. As they embraced, the first drops of rain began to fall, soft, gentle, and full of memory. And this time, neither of them ran from it. Because the rain that once brought pain had now become the symbol of love, gratitude, and new beginnings.